Every morning, 150 million people receive spiritual guidance. Not from a priest, not from a therapist, from an app. The app is called Daily Stoic. The quote today is from Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus wrote that in the 1st century AD. He was a slave. His master, a man named Epaphroditus, once broke his leg, deliberately, to prove a point about pain and mental endurance. Epictetus said, "I told you it would break." Today, that philosophy, born from the bones of a man who had no rights, no wages, and no legal recourse against the person breaking his leg, is a productivity industry worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's in Amazon wellness programs, in corporate mindfulness sessions, in daily emails sent to 200,000 subscribers. Philosophy has been robbed. The philosophers can't complain, they're dead, but someone should. Let's establish who we're actually dealing with, because the version of Stoicism being sold to you is missing most of the original Stoics. Epictetus, a slave, developed an entire philosophy of inner freedom because outer freedom had been taken from him by law. His philosophy was not about accepting your circumstances. It was about maintaining dignity while he fought against them. His master broke his leg to test the philosophy. The philosophy passed. His leg did not. Seneca, advisor to Emperor Nero, wrote that rich people should treat their servants as equals. Servisunt imo homines. They are slaves, but they are human beings. In the 1st century AD, that was radical enough that Nero eventually ordered him to kill himself. He did, calmly, while writing letters. The corporate wellness industry has not included this outcome in its literature. Cato the Younger. When Julius Caesar defeated his forces and offered him amnesty, Cato read Plato's Phaedo cover to cover, twice, then disemboweled himself rather than live under Caesar's rule. That is the original Stoic response to authority you consider unjust, not a morning journal entry about gratitude, self-inflicted death rather than submission. You will not find this in the motivational poster section. Marcus Aurelius, the one everyone quotes on LinkedIn. He was the most powerful man in the known world. His meditations were private journals, never meant for publication, where he reminded himself daily not to abuse his power. The original context, "I am the emperor. I must remember not to be a tyrant." The LinkedIn context, "I got a rejection email. I must remember not to spiral." These are not the same situation. Marcus Aurelius had nuclear-level power in human form. You have a performance review in 40 minutes. Musonius Rufus argued that women should receive the same philosophical education as men. In the year 60 AD, he was exiled 3 times for his political views. Today's Stoic influencer market is aimed primarily at men, and has quietly removed the feminist Stoic from the canon entirely. He is not in the daily email. Here's what the original toolkit actually does, if you use it correctly. It doesn't ask you to accept the situation. It asks you to protect the one thing they cannot legally take, your judgment about whether the situation is acceptable. Cato didn't use Stoicism to endure Caesar. He used it to stay clear enough, emotionally, mentally, to decide that Caesar wasn't worth enduring. That's a different product than the one in the email. Here's where the crime was committed, and here's the suspect. Ryan Holiday dropped out of college at 19 to work for Robert Greene, who wrote 48 Laws of Power. His first book was about how to manipulate the media. It was called Trust Me, I'm Lying. In 2014, he wrote The Obstacle is the Way, a book about Stoicism for modern high performers. That same year, the Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots, both weeks away from the Super Bowl, invited him to speak at their facilities. Senators, CEOs, Fortune 500 executives. 2 million copies sold, 30 languages. Ryan Holiday now commands between $25,000 and $50,000 per speaking engagement. The Daily Stoic email goes to 200,000 subscribers. His net worth, built entirely on repackaging an ancient philosophy of resistance, is estimated at $5 million. Zoe Williams at The Guardian wrote in 2024 that his books attach Stoic quotes to modern examples so randomly, it's like putting Stoicism into a Magimix. A Magimix is a blender. The result is smooth, drinkable, and palatable. Nothing of the original texture survives. Here's what specifically was removed. Cosmopolitanism, the Stoic belief that all human beings, regardless of nationality, class, or slave status, are equal members of a single moral community with obligations to each other. Removed. Replaced with individual resilience, political engagement, Cato dying rather than submitting, Seneca writing about social equality, Musonius arguing for women's rights. The Stoics were political agitators who were punished for their views. Removed. Replaced with morning routines, collective responsibility. The Stoics believed virtue required engaging with the world, not withdrawing into your own optimized mind palace. Removed. Replaced with focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can control, in its original context, is advice for a slave about maintaining inner dignity so he can continue to act against the system. In its corporate context, it's advice for a worker about not organizing a union. Same words, different architecture. The part they blended out, cosmopolitanism, is actually the most practical piece of the original philosophy. It says your colleague's suffering is your moral concern, not because it's idealistic, because you're part of the same community, and communities that ignore their own suffering don't survive. The Stoics called it kathekon, appropriate action for a rational being living among other rational beings. The corporate version calls it outside the scope of today's workshop. I see you. Sitting in the mandatory mindfulness session your employer organized, on company time, which is technically your time. Learning breathing techniques so you can better handle the stress of a job that your employer created and has no intention of changing. I see you opening the Daily Stoic at 6 a.m. before a shift that ends at 6 p.m. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Technically true, you do not have power over your wages. You do not have power over your workload. You do not have power over the algorithm tracking your bathroom breaks. But you have power over your mind. Breathe. Amazon offers its warehouse workers an app called Amazon, a mindfulness booth installed inside the warehouse. A small booth, where you can go for a few minutes to practice being calm before returning to the shift. The booth is named after the company. The philosophy is named after a slave who had no booth. Corporate mindfulness programs grew from a niche practice to a billion-dollar industry between 2005 and 2025. A 2025 survey found that 20% of U.S. workers are experiencing quiet cracking, persistent unhappiness that erodes motivation while they stay in their jobs. Half are at breaking point. The productivity cost, $438 billion annually. The Stoic solution on offer, better mindfulness. The solution Cato would have proposed, don't work there. The solution Seneca would have proposed, the employer is morally obligated to treat you as a human being. The solution Musonius would have proposed, organize collectively. None of these are in the daily email. Here's what Epictetus's question actually was. Not, can I accept this, but what do I still have, right now, that they cannot take? His answer, from the floor of a slave cell, his capacity to judge, to reason, to decide what deserves his cooperation and what doesn't. Your answer, from the floor of an open plan office, is the same. Your capacity to judge whether this is worth accepting is yours. The mindfulness app cannot touch it. The wellness program cannot touch it. And once you're clear on that judgment, what to do with it becomes considerably less complicated. 3 phrases: what they meant, what they now do. Amor fati, love your fate. The original meaning, a philosophical posture toward mortality, embracing life's totality, including suffering, as part of what makes existence real. It was not advice, it was a relationship with death. In 2026, Amor fati appears on HR motivation boards during layoff seasons. It is the philosophical equivalent of your employer telling you to love what they just did to you. The obstacle is the way, Marcus Aurelius. A reminder to himself, the emperor, that resistance should be converted into forward motion. His obstacles? Barbarian invasions, plagues, political betrayal. Yours is the quarterly targets your manager changed 3 weeks before your review. Embrace it. Focus only on what you can control. Epictetus. A survival mechanism for a man who controlled nothing. Not his body, not his time, not his legal status. Used today, most efficiently, to redirect workers away from questions about what they should control. But here's the full list of what you actually control, the unedited version. What you say, who you say it to, whether you document, whether you align with others, whether you comply or refuse, whether you stay or leave, whether you treat your colleague's problem as your problem. These are also things you control. The corporate version kept the breathing. It removed the options. That's not an accident. That's the edit. Let me close with the one thing the daily email has never sent. The original Stoics gave us 4 tools, not 1. Clarity, to see the situation as it actually is, without the story your employer placed around it. Not toxic positivity, not catastrophizing, the situation clearly. Judgment, to decide, once you see clearly, what deserves your cooperation and what doesn't. This is the tool they most want you to forget exists. Community, because your colleague's suffering is your moral concern, not because it's kind, because you are part of the same community. And the Stoics were explicit. A rational being living among other rational beings has obligations that extend beyond their own mood management. That's the philosophical foundation of every collective action that has ever worked. The daily email does not have a section on this. Courage. Cato's kind, not the kind that gets you a better morning routine, the kind that costs something. The version they sell contains one of those 4 tools, rebranded as wellness, delivered at 6 a.m., before your shift. Epictetus didn't build a philosophy for his master. He built it so that his master, no matter what he did, could never fully own him. The clarity, the judgment, the community, the courage, those remained his. You have the complete set now. What you do with it is, as Epictetus would say, entirely up to you. That part, to be fair, they actually got right. It just wasn't supposed to lead here. The rabbit hole.